and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to today's episode of Mid Air Collision podcast. So, in today's episode, we would talk about like what is mid air collision with one of my friend AAG. So, let's start with today's
Hello
podcast.
guys, how are you?
Okay,
I hope you all are doing fine. Thank you for inviting me to this podcast. This is my very first time um attending a podcast. So thank you very much.
okay. So, let's start with today's video. So, in chapters in today's video are what is mid-air collision, factors which are essential, crash location, what exactly happened, whose mistake, and some of ATC contacts. So let's start. First, I would like my friend to talk about what is the term meant by mid-air collision.
So mid-air collision means when two planes crash into each other and they fall in the ground. So that is basically mid-air collision.
So the mid-air collision case, which happened in India, it happened in 12th of November 1996. The Saudi Arabia flight 763, a Boeing 747, en route from Delhi, India to Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, and Kazakhstan Airlines flight 1907 and Insulin II-76 en route from Chimkent to from Kazakhstan to Delhi collided over a village of Chakri Dardi around 100 km west of Delhi. It is also known as the Chakri Dardi mid-air collision. So let's move to the further topic. So first I would like to tell you the factors which are essential on the flight of SV 763R. Today's, if you check on any app, for instance, Flight Radar 24, if you type this number SV763, you will get the today's schedule of that particular flight from Cochin to Jeddah. Then plane's registration and plane's age is not available. People on board were 289 passengers and 23 crew members with two pilots. After that, on time of crash, the operating schedule was Delhi to Dharan. There were zero survivors and 312 deaths. So there were no survivors on the flight. Factors for essential for Kazakhstan flight 1907 are today's schedule is not available. Plane's registration and plane's age is not available. People on board, there were 37 people on board, 27 passengers, and 10 crew members. And the route was from Shemkhet to Kazakhstan. Sorry, Shemkhet, Kazakhstan to Delhi. And there are zero survivors and there are 37 deaths. So photos, if we talk about the photos of the plane, if you can see, this is the Boeing 747-400 of Saudi Arabian, and this is the Insulin II-76 of the Kazakhstan Airlines. So if you can see, the Insulin plane is a partial passenger and partial cargo plane. So let's move ahead. So I would like to now my friend to talk about where did the exact crash happen.
So the exact crash happened at Chakri Dadri, which is 100 kilometer to the west from Delhi.
Okay. So if we check on Google Map, if you can see over here, the crash happened somewhere over in this area. If you can see, Chakri Dadri is written over here, and 100 kilometers west. If we talk about, I think here must be somewhere. Delhi airport must be this side somewhere. Okay. So if you go on Google Map or Google, just search the thing that crash location of mid-air collision, you will get the exact image, the last place of Saudi and Kazakh Airlines. So at this point, they both their remains were found. So what exactly happened? I'd like my friend to talk about it. What exactly happened on that case?
So at 3:55 p.m., the Kazakhstan flight took off from its airport in its country, and just at 6:33 p.m. on the same day, 12 November 1996, the Saudi Arabian flight took off from the Indira Gandhi International Airport. And then what happened is that the ATC controller at that time at Indira Gandhi International Airport was VK Datta, and he was managing the conversation between these, not between, but for these two planes. And then what happened is that the Saudi Arabian airline went already had reached 10,000 feet of height. So they asked so they requested VK Datta that could they go up to 14,000 feet. So VK Datta grants this permission and they go up to 14,000 feet. But then VK Datta tells the Kazakhstan flight pilot that do not go below 15,000 feet as they were at 15,000 feet. So, but still, as they had to land, the Kazakhstan flight had to land. Uh, the pilot moved the plane to 14,000 feet, and then that's how the mid-air collision happened,
Okay.
basically.
Okay, so with the exact situation was that the most of its left wing and a vertical stabilizer. So I would just like to tell you what is vertical stabilizer. If you see a plane's body, it goes like this, and there is one thing which goes up. So this particular thing is the vertical stabilizer. So the left wing crashed into this vertical stabilizer, which created like the plane is then fully uncontrollable. So with the most of its left wing and vertical stabilizer gone, the insulin went into a flat spin and crashed into a field at an altitude near the wreckage of Saudi plane. All 312 people on board SVA 763 and all 37 people on KZA 1907 were killed. The collision took place about 100 kilometers or 60 miles west of Delhi. So let's move ahead. So, what was the ATC conversation exactly?
So the ATC conversation is what I told you that the Saudi Arabian flight pilot asked that can we go up to 14,000 feet, and then VK Datta grants this permission, and uh, and then they go up to 14,000 feet. But then VK Datta tells the Kazakhstan flight pilot that do not go to 14,000 feet as they were at 15,000 feet of height. So, but still the Kazakhstan flight pilot moved the plane to 14,000 feet, and then that's how the mid-air collision happened.
Okay. So, what what do you think? Whose mistake was it?
I think honestly that um, it was the Kazakhstan uh, flight pilot's mistake because he didn't listen to VK Datta's orders. He told him to not go to 14,000 feet, and he asked the pilot to stay on. He actually told the pilot to stay on 15,000 feet only. So, in my opinion, it was the Kazakhstan flight pilot's mistake.
Correct. So this term, which he told just now, is also known as a pilot error. So the most common cause of a mid-air collision is pilot error or the general failure to take notice of the other aircraft by one or another pilot. Sadly, in most cases, at least one pilot could have seen the approaching aircraft in the time to avoid the mid-air collision. So I think it must be because of stress they were not able to see the aircraft. Or mostly there are systems which in aircraft which at least show you on a radar that there is a flight which is approaching you, it's very near, so you at least should pull up or pull down. So at an instance, this is the Kazakhstan Airlines at 15,000 feet, and this is the Saudi Arabian. So at least Kazakhstan would have gone down of this plane or above this plane, but it never happened. So they crashed at a point. So let's go ahead. So what could have been done to avoid the collision?
I think there are two ways. So basically, if Saudi Arabian air flight would not have gone to 14,000 feet, that might be one way. Otherwise, the other way, which I feel is more accurate, is that and correct, is that the Kazakhstan flight should have not gone to 14,000 feet.
Okay. Or if one of the pilot would have seen the aircraft, at least they should control it to avoid these situations. So thanks for watching today's video. I am very thankful for my friend to take out his time to joining this podcast. Thank you for watching today's video.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.